Okay, welcome to Almost Funny with Judson Veach, episode 1. We're doing a podcast. My first guest ever today, she lives in Nashville, Tennessee. She is a somatic therapist. She was also formerly a principal ballerina, danced professionally for over 10 years. She knows what I look like naked. It's my wife, Sarah Veach, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Woo, claps. We'll have a clap drop. Hayden,
We'll get the clap drop next time.
Yeah, we'll get the clap drop going. Oh, celebration of the first guest. We're going to try to do a podcast.
You are.
I am. I'm going to try to do a pod. Full disclosure, this is actually the second time we're doing this.
Yeah.
We tried it the first time, and the beginning of the file was corrupted, and then the rest of it stunk. So we're shooting it again. Take two. We were doing a podcast called Almost Serious. That's what we were doing. I was like, hey, weren't you obsessed with ballet growing up? And you were like, that's the improper use of the word obsessed. And I was like, I don't know if I want this to be the podcast. That's not the clinical definition of the word obsessed. But we're here now. We came in hot, didn't we, Hayden? We got here,
minute and a half.
Late. It was a crazy morning at the Veach household.
Mostly for you. You're just doing a lot right now.
Yeah, I got a lot of hats I'm wearing.
Yeah, I got you lunch.
You got me lunch.
Did a little data entry for you. I drove you here.
You did some data entry. You drove. That was, I feel like, the part where I had to really coach myself. Was the you driving me here? You don't drive. This is my wife. She doesn't drive.
I drive myself. Yeah. I drive the kids.
Driving me crazy.
I never drive you.
Behind the wheel. We were coming in. It was like the thing of you're either gonna be late or you're gonna be on time, depending on how you drive. And you were like, you know what I should do to start this drive? Take a phone call from my sister about a dog. And I was like, that is not the energy. You know what I mean? You need to put on like loud music. Like we need to be like focused and weaving and driving. And you were like leisurely like sitting behind the slowest truck. And I was like trying to tell you, and you were just like, you're gonna need to calm down. And so it was like the minutes were adding. So it was good exposure therapy for me.
Exposure to what?
Exposure to being uncomfortable around my wife. And
you're plenty exposed to that.
I am. We made it.
So I know you're the host, but I have some questions for you.
Okay. You wanted to get it on the record so you could ask me in a public setting? What are these questions?
Yeah, so you have been, I think most people that will be listening or watching to at least this episode know you from Instagram, or they're our friends and family.
How you doing? Yeah, that's right.
So I think it could be cool for you. If you've followed any of his content, a lot of short, fast talking, clip, punchline, funny. But I'm thinking maybe you might want to share a little bit more about yourself long form. Now you have a microphone and a podcast.
Well, yeah. I think people are getting like miniature windows into who I am. I do think a big reason I want to do the podcast is because I want to build what they call that parasocial relationship, where people feel like they know me even when you don't actually know me. And I can be myself with people and not just go, hey, you guys, the top 5 things about being a dad, like that doesn't feel like a real person at the end of the day. So I want to be a real person.
So give us a little bit of a rundown. Where are you from? What did you do before comedy? What's up?
Well, you and I have a similar background. We both started in the world of ballet. And I started doing that when I was really little. We both started when we were kids. I was 6, you were 4, mm-hmm. right? And then you moved through the ballet world, went to School of American Ballet. If you know, you know. And
that's your favorite fun fact about yourself?
Well, it just sounds good. It's weird. I was not even like the right type of person to go there. I was like, who's George Balanchine? And everyone was like, we hate the fact that you don't know what any of this is.
We had a good time.
I had a great time. I had a time of my life. I got to live in New York City when I was 17 years old with just a roommate. No parents. I wasn't in the dorms. I was just running free in New York City. And then moved to Nashville. But we met my first day in Nashville.
And we met on the move-in day.
Met on move-in day.
Yeah.
And I was moving a mini refrigerator, and you said, You tell the world what you thought in your head when you saw me moving in the fridge.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I hope that's not someone's older brother. I hope that's a dancer here that I'll get to know better.
Joke's on you, I am someone's older brother. But I was also a dancer there. So
yeah,
it all worked out.
You went on to have an amazing career. Did a lot of principal roles.
Yeah. Yeah. If that matters to anyone, I don't know if that matters to anybody. But yeah, I was a very successful regional ballet dancer. So.
But then was it 26?
26. I hung up my point shoes.
You were like, it's retirement age for me.
Yep. Got out of there. It was crazy. Like the first day that I realized I was allowed to stop dancing, I was like, oh, well, then I'll be done with that. I didn't really know that was an option. I've been doing this forever since I could remember. You don't have to keep doing this. I'm out. See ya.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately after I left the ballet, you approached me with an offer of putting a baby inside of you.
Yep. Right in the middle of career transition for you. I was like, let's expand.
Yeah. And so I rejected that offer.
But then, she persisted.
Yeah, she persisted. And then the next thing you know, we got a couple of kids. So,
yep. You went into real estate and then somewhere.
Yeah.
You're really good at it. I can brag about you.
Okay. Yep. I'm good at real estate. That is true. If you're buying or selling in Middle Tennessee, let me know. Still do it.
But somewhere in the entering parenthood, you really, I hope it's okay, I'm speaking for you, really needed a creative outlet. You're a very creative person. You were doing a lot of business work, a lot of, wiping butts, and you're like, let me take a stand-up class. And then I had just finished grad school to go back to get a master's in clinical mental health counseling. And as soon as I graduated, you're like, I'm going to pursue comedy. And you started doing that in the Nashville comedy scene.
Yeah, I took a comedy class and it ruined all of our lives. And now I'm doing comedy 5 nights a week. So yeah, that kind of brings us to where we are today.
Okay, wait, nope. There's one more little part.
Okay.
Talk about, for people that don't know, some people might know, what it takes to make it in stand-up.
If you want to do stand-up comedy, not comedy in your car, not be in a funny TV show or be on Instagram and, make a little video. If you want to do stand-up comedy, live shows, it just takes forever. It's like ballet, where you start and you aren't very good and you might have potential, but even somebody who has potential that's new stinks. Especially compared to I'm going to pay a ticket to go see a person do this. There's people who've been doing this for 25 years who are legends, who are I can barely sell 200 tickets. So how are you going to sell any tickets as somebody who is new and stinks at the hardest thing to do maybe ever of all time? So,
and I think a lot of people start it when they're young, early 20s.
Yeah,
and
people start it when they're 20, 18. Some people start
and you were 30.
31.
31.
So
already with 2 kids.
31 with 2 kids. That's the way to start. If you're going to start comedy, wait till you're 31, have a couple of kids, make sure you have a lot of financial responsibilities and a wife, and then go out and do it. You'll figure it out. Won't be hard.
But I think all of the pressure underneath your jokes right there, or your sarcasm or whatever just happened, is why you started your Instagram. Because you were like, I got to get creative.
Yeah. Well, we had a fight about if we were ever going to be able to have more kids, if we wanted more kids. And you were like, I would like to have 3 kids. And I was like, I would like to jump off a bridge.
You were like, I want to do comedy.
Well, yeah, I want to do comedy. And but even with 2 kids, doing comedy is a crazy
It's really
thing
hard,
to do.
yeah. They say, no, don't go. When you go out to Mike's to practice, it's tough.
Yeah. It's weird because it's I feel like I know where I can go in comedy. I feel like I can see the place I want to get to, but it doesn't exist yet. So it's I can see the house I want to build, and everybody else is just here hey, you're leaving your family. I mean, the first year was crazy because it's literally going on stage, getting no laughs, and leaving my wife and 1-year-old and 3-year-old child to be hey, I'm going to go to a bar with 3 people there, do jokes that stink for no laughs. It's going to take 4 hours. I'll be back.
Yeah, it sucked.
It sucked.
But I think on both ends, because it's like everyone at home is like, yeah, we could really use you to be at home.
Yeah.
And then like out in the comedy scene, it's like, you should be doing more of this.
Meaning going out more nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. There's pressure to get better. That pressure starts to come more though when you're like, you put that on yourself. I put that on myself.
Yeah.
No one's saying you should come out more. People are like, you should quit this. No one's like, do more. And yeah, I feel like now after doing it for many years, I have something to contribute on stage that is worthwhile. I feel like we've found a flow and a rhythm that works for our household in terms of me being there and not being there.
We have.
This is my question to you that you have to now answer on the record. What is it that makes you feel like, okay, I'm okay with him doing this? Because I feel like many people, if they were watching at home and their husband came to them and was like, look, I am actually a stand-up comedian and these are the time commitments and this is the life change. Like they would rather their husband be like, hey, I'm gay. Like there's nothing worse than like having your husband approach you and say like, I'm going to be gone 5 nights a week. Best case scenario, I leave the family many weekends a year. I'm going to have a public facing self that's about making jokes.
Right, because when we started our relationship, it wasn't like, hey, here's the bargain. There was there was a whole switcheroo there.
Exactly. It's a huge 10 years into a marriage.
Yeah.
So why is it that you feel like you are down to support this?
Well, I wasn't, sort of, I mean, it was like a couple of years, however long you've been doing it. It's been hard. And I've been like, how do I support this? I hate this. Yeah. That's my honest answer. But I think where I'm at today is, I mean, you've changed so much getting to do something that you're so connected to, passionate about. I think it's made you a better dad. It's made you a better husband. It's made you a better person. And I feel like I had that with ballet. I have that with my new profession too. It's a little bit different. And so I know what it feels like to have passion and to want to do something. And so when you see that in a person that you love, you're like, okay, well, how do I get on board with this? Because I want them to be able to do those things.
I mean,
I see tears. How
can you not love this woman? Are you kidding me right now, Hayden? Are you married?
No, I'm not married. I am dating, yeah.
All right. He's available. You can't see his face, but if you love that voice, leave a comment. We'll set up a blind date. Truly blind. Yeah, that is really awesome. I feel like I had the most miniature version of this when you went to grad school, right? So you had a wonderful, illustrious career. I mean, as all careers do, it had ups and downs. And we can talk about those if you want. But you left the ballet, and I think pretty quickly you were like, I want to pursue getting...
Yeah, I figured out before I left that I wanted to be a therapist next.
Before you left, you knew that?
Mm-hmm. It was during COVID. Yeah. I think COVID made a lot of people, a lot of artists kind of pause and say, what am I doing and what do I think I want to do next?
Yeah.
So I was already looking into grad school programs. What was the rest of the question?
Well, basically, like, I was doing a supportive role while you were going out many nights a week.
Oh, yeah. So, because I went to grad school, I started when I was pregnant with our second. So, like, my first semester was my third trimester.
Jeez.
And then I had a baby, and I didn't pause. I like had 2 weeks off, and then you were home. You were home with the, maybe it was like a 3-week-old, just one night a week, I think.
For that beginning one, yeah.
Yeah, 2 on 1. So like I slowed down a little, but I was like bearing children and pursuing kind of my next shift at the same time. So you were really holding down the fort. It was very hard.
Yeah, and I took pride in being able to do that, but I think I was way too vocal in my complainedness of that. I externalized a lot of my issues with that. But I think it also maybe, in my mind, set up a bargain as soon as I kind of caught the comedy bug of like, hey, I'm going to do this for many, many years, watch these kids while she goes out and pursues the degree she wants to get. And then it will be my turn.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was taking that comedy class the first time I took it. We did the little showcase at the end that I got to be on stage and perform and be the center of attention for 8 minutes, even though we were only supposed to do 4. But I didn't see the light.
You got really good feedback. All of our friends came.
Our friends came. I thought, wow, that was really something. And then it was a year before I went back on stage again because it just didn't work with our life. And I had really baked that in. They were like, you could take the second comedy, the stand-up 2 class. And I said, well, that's on a night of the week that Sarah's and I didn't
class.
Has class. And I was just like that. But, I could have maybe done more open mics or something, but I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was thinking this chapter of my life is the chapter where I'm at home and I watch the kids at night.
Yeah, that was great.
Was it great?
I loved going away. Like, I didn't go away all the time. I was at home during the day, but to have my brain intellectually stimulated while you're doing so much caregiving was a really good balance for me personally.
Yeah.
I like went to and had all these buddies, and I was around like a group of people versus like you're in the home all day alone with a baby. It was a nice balance for me.
It broke me, to be honest. I
know. I remember.
It was tough. And that's also a really hard time of child raising. Like that first couple of years, if you got more than one that are all under the age of under 3. Yeah. You had 2 under 3 and you were gone a lot, it felt like to me. I feel like we've touched on all of my stuff. Right. Do you guys feel like you know me at home? Do you know me better, Hayden, than when we started?
Yeah, I know you very well.
Yeah. Well, of all the stuff you learned about me, what's the most interesting fun fact so far?
I'm interested in the world of ballet. Like, I don't know if the viewers are interested. I find that interesting.
They're not.
That's a cool way to meet somebody, I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
I'm being serious.
No, it is. And if you haven't met somebody yet, start doing ballet. I feel like that is the quickest way to partner up.
No, I really do think most people think ballet is interesting, whether you do it and you're like, yeah, obviously I love this, or you don't do it and you're like, this is so fascinating. You are really out there on your own island. There's like, we don't need to talk about this.
Oh, I think it is fascinating. I think it's interesting. What's hard to know when you're so inside of something, no matter what it is, you're like, what even is interesting about this? Because it could be endlessly fascinating. So Hayden, break this open for us. You got 2 beautiful specimens walking the earth here. And we have intimate knowledge of what it's like to be stars of a mid-level ballet company. I'm calling myself a star. Right, no one's going to fact check this. Superstars of a mid-level ballet company in the regional South. Now, what is the first thing that comes to mind as a question in that situation?
I guess it's just like how I'm interested in like how like consuming that life is. Cause I've been in like, this is a lower scale example, but I did band in high school and our school was like very, very competitive. And I remember it was just like it was marching band. So performing and like physical exertion and all that stuff. And it was very consuming at that age. Like it was like all I was thinking about, memorizing music, like to a like, maybe a toxic extent, but I'm just like, I'm curious about that. Like how was that?
That's good. And for all the Hayden heads at home, we're getting some good background on Hayden. Marching band, take notes. We want to make sure we're getting all this down. I agree. It's
all consuming.
Consuming. And there's like, I think a pro and a minus to being coupled up with somebody. Why are you laughing at that?
Pro and minus. It's pro and con.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't want to say a con. It is just a minus. It's pro and minus.
Okay.
It's a plus and con. There's a plus and a con to being coupled up with somebody who's also in the like obsessive art that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I would never date a comedian now. Like if I was starting out fresh and I was doing comedy and it was like you were like if you were a comedian, maybe I'd be interested because you're pretty cute. But
you have an obscure schedule. Like with performances and so it's like you get to spend a lot of time together if you date that way.
The lifestyle's a nightmare, to be honest. It's like I would be thinking about how much I'm walking around during the day.
Yeah, I can't go out this weekend because I have to ice my feet.
Yeah.
I
can't be in the sun. I'm going to get sunburned. I can't.
I can't go away this long because I have to stay in shape.
can't go water skiing because I'll destroy myself. There's just 100 million things that your whole lifestyle is revolving around this thing, and you're kind of in a cult where you don't even know what you don't know. I feel like that is. I mean, if there are people listening, this is like a line of demarcation. If there's people listening that are currently active ballet that haven't retired yet,
oh boy,
you don't even know. You don't even know. You could be 45, and if you've been doing it your whole life, it's like I can see a page past where you are right now, and it counts too if you never left the profession. So you could be 85. If you're in the cult and you've never left for any period of time, and went into civilian life and worked in the real world and did something else, you don't know what you don't know, because the second that you break the hermetically sealed bubble of ballet, you go, whoa, there is a whole bunch of stuff that I was taking as fact that is not. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I thought was the most important thing in the world that is not. And so when you're coupled up with somebody who's also in the bubble, it's nice because you reinforce your priors all the time. Yeah, I understand why that's so important to you. Of course that's so important to you. But I think it's interesting when you have a couple where one of the people, and it's usually a woman, because men all date the ballerinas. It's like, why wouldn't you? Hello? But you have a woman who's dating a guy who's outside, and the guy always invariably starts going, well, are you kidding me with this? They start to slowly start poking holes in the narratives that the ballet community holds up. And they usually, at an arm's length, they go, this is the weird thing that you do. I guess I just don't get it. But then, like, when I would talk to the other husbands, they'd be like, what the hell is this?
Right.
What is all this weirdo stuff you guys are doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak for a husband that doesn't work in the ballet, but here I go.
You can. What else is there? This is almost funny. Speak for everyone. No one's like, oh, she got it a little wrong.
I think there's like oh my gosh, a ballerina. They're so mystical. So it's like easy to kind of get swept in the like obscurity and like even if there's like a couple of red flags of like, oh, this doesn't make sense that you're dancing on this injury right now. There's like, oh, well, this is just what you do because you're this like amazing creature.
Well, and I do want to talk about the red flags. Like, what are the ballet red flags that people aren't seeing?
5 red flags.
These are the 5 red flags if you do ballet in 2026. It's pretty good. You got a laugh out of Hayden there. You heard it on the mic. That wasn't just weird feedback. Here's some feedback. Do better jokes, Judson. What are the red flags? Because I think there's some that are universal. Like you just said, dancing through injuries, like your own threshold. I think I was a little bit more privileged because I pictured myself in a place in the company where if I was having a day where I wasn't feeling it because I had a little something going on, I'd be like, I have a little something, I'm going to sit. And I think that helped me. I mean, I was never injured.
There's a difference of being, I think, at least when we were dancing, a male and a female.
Big time. Biggest difference in any activity.
There's like millions of 4-year-old girls that say, I want to be a ballerina when they grow up. How many 4-year-old boys say that?
8.
So it's so much more competitive, I think.
Of course it is. Yes, it's a terrible supply-demand issue.
So you go out as a woman for an injury and whoop, there's like 6 amazing dancers ready to swoop right on in.
There wasn't even one guy qualified to do my job, including me. I was faking it to some degree. So it's like we need you to take care of yourself and do whatever you got to do because there's no one to replace you. And that is changing, I feel like. It's getting more competitive across the board.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I'm so glad I danced in the era that I danced. I was right in the sweet spot. I mean, I used to be like, oh, I wish I could have been in the 70s when you didn't even need to like have your leg above 45. But I think I was right where I wanted to be. I could not do it today.
Did your leg go above 45 in the 2000s?
Rarely, but hey, there's many pictures where I happened to kick it really hard and it got to 90.
The running joke when we were in the company together was that Judson was like the only ballet dancer probably in the history of ballet that never got his splits.
Middle. I could do my right split almost.
See, almost.
Almost splits. If I was really warmed up and feeling it,
the final days of your career, you could almost relax into it, but you had to have your hands propping you up.
I mean, but Hayden,
dude, I couldn't even get remotely.
He couldn't even get close. If me and Hayden were doing the splits right now, it'd probably look exactly the same.
Yeah. I bet Hayden would be further down than you.
Well, this is something that I think is one of those things where, depending on the perspective you're looking at it, is either a really big drawback or kind of like a thing to celebrate, which is, of human beings on Earth, I am probably in like the bottom 10% of natural mobility. And yet...
Are you going to talk about how good you are at running now?
No, I mean, unless we need to talk about that. Do we need to talk? We probably should. Let's save it for a later episode.
I'm
very fast.
He likes to make up statistics about himself that are like set in absolutes.
Okay, we do need to touch on this because this is not a made up statistic, and anyone at home can do the math on this. Hayden, back me up. Just hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
We're going to separate the claim of bottom 10% of flexibility, which is true, objectively. I have made the claim, and I continue to make the claim, that I am in the top 10% of fastest human beings alive on Earth right now.
That's initially hard for me to accept.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that's wrong.
Okay.
He usually gets pushback. You're not alone.
I love the pushback on this, and pushback because this has been a steel-manned argument.
Beware, you're about to race in the parking lot after we wrap this.
I would love to race in the parking lot after we wrap.
So this is the key is the group that you're sampling.
Okay, sure.
Humans alive on Earth. How many humans alive on Earth are going to be over 50 years old?
Okay, so
of which I'm faster than 99.9% of. Right. Older than 40, I'm going to be faster than 95% of those. Right.
I mean,
those
how many
old,
people?
slow folks?
How many people over 40 run at all?
Exactly. So then,
I think a lot of people.
Not fast. We're talking top speed. I'm not saying
like
run a marathon.
Sprints.
A sprint. I'm saying in top miles per hour.
Right.
Which can be measured, which I do have a screenshot on my phone of how my fastest miles per hour, which we can provide, and we'll put it in.
We'll overlay it.
We'll overlay it, as they say in the business.
Yeah.
This is not me tooting my own horn at all. This is just an interesting
toot.
This is an interesting mathematical fact. And then you look at the lower quartile of age. I'm going to be faster than every infant, every toddler, probably every 12-year-old. There might be some outlier, like high school students that are going to start to really push me on that if they're doing track. But who's even doing track? Have you seen high school students nowadays? They're in shambles.
I can't wait till our kids beat you.
It will happen, but I mean, we're talking 30, 40
But I feel like in some way
years.
that almost like, because they have his DNA. It's like if they beat him,
he'll
it's
like see himself in them and be like, I'm still winning.
I would love for them to beat me in a race.
Yeah, good job. Good call, Hayden.
But then we're really talking about comparing myself to the age quartile that I'm near. Right. So people who are probably between like 16 and maybe we'll call it 40.
Sure.
So what percent of the population even is that? Let's make up a number just for fun. Let's say that's less than 40% of the population, probably.
That's safe.
So you're already top 35% by virtue of showing up that day. Now, this is going to be controversial.
Sorry, this is my fault. I know all your buttons.
This isn't a button. This is actually a really good
I
segment.
pressed the I'm the top 10% fastest humans on Earth button, and it won't stop. So I think we should pivot. This is my bad. I just
we're getting near the
conclusion. This is why we have Hayden on the pod. Now cut that group in half.
Cut
that 35% in half.
Right.
Because what percentage of female runners am I going to be faster than?
Yeah.
Probably 99% in terms of top speed.
99. Yeah.
We got to think, this is something I do practice. It's not like I just never
So
have
you
done
do
it.
actually like.
I can run really fast.
He does not run.
I do
literally
run.
last week he was seeing many people.
I don't jog. I sprint.
Sprint.
When do you sprint?
When I'm down
up
at
the stairs?
No, on the assault treadmill to see what my top speed is.
He just does it to put it in his little.
I do it to see
record
how
log.
Yes, this is a very niche activity.
I mean, sprint running is different techniques than like distance running.
Absolutely,
Yes.
I would be terrible. I want to go on the record. I'm terrible at distance. I wouldn't be able to run a marathon. I don't even know if I could run 3 miles today without being totally.
He can run super fast.
Super fast
for
a short
2 seconds.
We're just trying to do this on top speed. Now we're down to what, 17% of the population. So now I just have to be
7%.
7%. I'm faster than 7% of those. Some of those people, maybe they are in a wheelchair. Maybe they have diabetes. Maybe they have some other issue. It's like very quickly, without even running, you're in the top 10%, which is why my final claim is I'm in the top 1% of speed in the United States.
So he said this, how many years ago was this when we were...
This was like 7 or 8 years ago when we were hanging out with Kevin.
No, more than that. Maybe, our daughter is 6.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe 10 years ago. He brought up this
I've only gotten
point,
faster.
And
this is so ridiculous.
Our good buddy was like, you are absolutely insane. And he had like a torn meniscus or ACL or something, and you guys went out and raced right after just to prove. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah. I mean,
but he had like he was waiting for knee surgery.
He was having a torn meniscus.
It wasn't that. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's some problem.
All right.
But really, dude, check me in the comments because it's not as much a running thing as it is an interesting quirk of math that I think is interesting.
Sure, it's like one of those it's like a word problem you would get in high school or like middle. It's like. But it's kind of a more difficult word problem.
Yes, it's an interesting thought experiment.
Let's get some real math people in here for this word problem.
So that's fun. We'll cut all that. Back to ballet for a second.
Yeah.
Which is what we were talking about. The lifestyle of people who are intermingled as husband and wife is, I think, in a lot of ways an advantage because you never have to puncture the seal of all of the weird things that you have to do to do ballet.
Yeah, I did a lot of weird things, and you were just like, this is just what she's got to do.
I supported too many weird things that I shouldn't have.
You sure did.
You almost lost your toes.
I did. That's a super weird thing that I wouldn't say is like standard for ballerinas or people in the field, but I had a real freak thing happen. Do you want the story?
We can do like a pared down version of the story. We talked for a long time about that racing thing, which I think is probably
racing bit was extensive.
More important than anything else today. But let's get into your foot story. The year was 2013. We were RAs at the Orlando Ballet Summer Intensive.
Yeah.
And while we were there was a student who had the same ailment.
So to just back up a little bit, because of the bone structure in my feet, when I wore point shoes, I got soft corns in between my 4th and 5th toe. For those of you that are not podiatrists, corns are like
not on the cob,
it's like a callus that grows underneath the skin, and there's soft corns and hard corns. I had soft corns, and so mine would blister underneath. And I had x-rays done because of just my bone structure. At times I would have bursitis, which is like when your bones are inflamed, the two bones that are rubbing. So it was very painful. If you've ever seen a point shoe, you're squeezing your foot together so tightly. Like there's no extra room. It's a really tight fit. So dancing 6 hours a day.
You were tortured.
It was torture.
And then, because this is almost funny with Judson Veach, the Judson Veach perspective on this is my wife is going into work every day. Her feet are torn to shreds. She's like holding back tears every time she goes on point. That's the whole job. So it's just like all day, every day. My wife is being tortured because her feet hurt so bad. Yeah. That is important information.
So there was a student, had the same thing. We connected. I was trying to help her, and she found this doctor.
He is a podiatrist. And what was interesting was he's a podiatrist, but he was a high achiever. He was also a lawyer and a rabbi.
I think that's right.
Which, when you first hear that, you're like, wow, what an accomplished guy. And then you keep listening to the story, and you're like, wow, maybe that guy was doing too many things.
Yeah, missed some maybe red flags.
Yeah.
So he claimed to have this procedure where you shave down the bones that are rubbing up, and it was like it's a 2-week recovery. Like it seemed like super low risk, high reward. And so this student got it done and was recovering well, and I felt like this is my chance. Like if I actually want to like move forward in this career, I have to solve this pain issue.
Well, and he was basically saying like, I know exactly what your problem is. You know when somebody comes to you and they go, this is the thing you've been dealing with, let me say it in your words, and you go, yes. And then he was like, I've helped dancers in Chicago. I've helped ballet dancers in so-and-so. And this is what their recovery looked like. They're dancing great now.
Did he say that?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that. So fast forward, I got it done, and I can skip through the like red flags that were happening during the procedure. Like it it was supposed to be numbed. I wasn't supposed to feel it. I could feel things.
That's a big difference.
This is like, I didn't know how to say, stop, ouch, something's not right.
That is a symptom of ballet as well.
Yeah. We can go back to that if you want to, of like, but I didn't know how to do that at that point in my life. It wasn't healing, and the summer program was wrapping up, so we were about to head back to Tennessee, and I had one more appointment with him, and I was like, I don't know, feels like it could be getting infected, and he wasn't concerned.
Yeah. Well, he said take Advil.
Yeah, I don't want to claim things because I honestly, like, it was such a crazy thing. I don't have the best
out of memory.
But I went home and I had this belief I can figure this out. If I'm infected, like, I can
I just will myself through infection.
Yep, I can just learn to deal with pain. I can, like, just so delusional.
I feel like when I think of, not to cut your story off.
No, go.
I feel like when I think of ballet as an outsider completely, I feel like one of the words I think of is like brutal. Like, I don't know if that's what Black Swan did to the world, but like, I feel like every time I think about ballet, I just think of like a dancer who is just facing insane external pressure at all times.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then you're getting paid hardly anything.
Right.
But there's also like a lot of fun, and like you make the best friends of your life, and there's just jokes all the time and like funny stuff. So there's like a balance. But they say like comics have, all the funny people have trauma.
Like a dark side, yeah.
Was it just how we're coping? No, I mean, but there's positives too. But
put a bow on your story.
Yeah, so I'm into my season now. I just keep like pleading with my director, I'm sorry, I think it'll get better soon. Can you just let me dance in flat shoes? This was not done on workers' comp either. I elected to do this separately, which was also a big mistake.
Big mistake, don't do that. All right, good, covering all the mistakes, check.
Eventually it was like, you got to put your pointe shoes on because we're coming up to the show, and I'm literally every day just like squeezing my feet in my pointe shoes, trying to just see if I can will myself to endure the amount of pain. It was infected. And at this point, without being treated with antibiotics, it was spreading to my bones. The infection was spreading to my bones.
Yeah.
And
they call that osteomyelitis in the business.
So after I was dancing in pointe shoes while everything was infected, the bones in my pinky toes shattered. And I went to our doctor to try to get pain meds so that I could do the show. And he x-rayed and was like, there is no way I'm letting you dance.
The x-ray is still, I can see it in my mind's eye. And it like is one of those things where you feel faint when you look at it because it's just like jagged pieces.
It was just fragments. Yeah.
And so
like the bones in my toes had like collapsed.
Totally collapsed. It was the craziest thing to see that up on a screen. It makes me feel grossed out right now.
So I had a PICC line put in. I had IV antibiotics around the clock for 6 weeks. I had surgery on both of my feet.
You're skipping the most dramatic moment.
Okay.
Which was, and I think you genuinely don't remember this because it was just like you blacked out. But I remember sitting in the doctor's room, and he comes back in, and we've looked at the horrible images of your feet. And the first thing he goes, if we can save the toes. And the energy in the room just was the darkest energy. If we can save the toes.
It was, I was a prime candidate for amputation.
Yes. He said, if you were an everyday person, there's no way we're keeping these things on you. The risks are too great. But they said, well, we'll try to do something here. No promises.
Yeah, so they did like a really creative procedure. They like scraped out all the infection in the dead bone and put in a substance called bone grafting cement, which is usually used in the spine. It hadn't been used on toes before. And I have a medical article or journal written about me.
Yep.
I had a tiny bit of bone growth that came back, and
been there.
Then the rest of my structure is held together with scar tissue.
Yep. You're mostly scar tissue down there, and they look weird.
Yeah, they're a little shorter now, my pinky toes, and then I lost part of my fourth metatarsal, so that they were worried about if I was able to go back to dance that joint would always come out of socket because I'm missing half of it. But
you lost an entire year of your career to this.
Entire year. I also had a knee surgery during that time. It was
because while your toes were infected,
yeah,
we were doing a boot camp with somebody who trained the Tennessee Titans, which also is like everybody relax with the we're gonna do crossover. We need to do ballet, or gonna do CrossFit.
No, I disagree. I think cross training is super important. I think it should be done
with the attitude of we're gonna push you. Let's see what these bodies can do. You think ballet is hard? Try CrossFit. Do the hardest thing.
He had a very intense energy. But I mean, if you have bone infections, you should not be doing a boot camp. There were just so many things where I didn't realize I should not be doing the things that I was doing. Yeah, so I tore my meniscus during that class.
Also, you don't need to be doing the same things as the Tennessee Titans to prepare for your job. Does she look like a Tennessee Titan? No. So it's not. You don't need to do the same stuff. I obviously do look like a Tennessee Titan. But that's why it made more sense.
Top 10%.
Top 10%.
Sprints.
Thank you. Top 1%.
So you did dance again after that?
I did.
Miraculously. It's the craziest turnaround.
It's like a movie.
And
there's any movie writers out there.
I did leading roles after that. The coolest moments of my career was after that.
Yep.
So the lawyer rabbi man.
Okay. Yes. So we were do we sue this guy?
Right.
And we reached out to a couple of lawyers, and they were because you can dance again, we will not take your case.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So it was kind of a 50-50 of you've got a really good case if this took your career. I mean, that's a very, sympathetic plaintiff, but let's take yes for an answer, move on, dance again, let it be in the past. And
it's a crazy story. And I don't know, this will probably be only interesting to ballet people, but a good friend of mine who I grew up dancing with was coming up with what a orthotic shoe insert for your point shoes at the time, and knew about my story and just really wanted to help me get back. And so she made these custom inserts, which now there's Perfect Point, which is a custom toe pad, but she was making it at the same time. And I remember one of the first models of Perfect Point she sent to me, she was oh, this is a competitor. I want to get our product out on the market. And
is Perfect Point pretty big now?
Yeah, major dancers and the major companies, principal people. So, wow, but I had my own custom orthotic that was similar, but during that time, I don't know.
In the early days of creating this now pretty ubiquitous technology,
yeah,
you were
I
one
had
of the
my
first
own version,
that was
from a different maker.
That was molded into this style.
But I don't know that I would have been able to come back in the same way if I didn't have those.
Those were huge for you. Those little weird pink things.
Because I just didn't have bones in my feet in the same way, and it just
which is a big part of it if you're doing ballet. Bones in the
sure
feet.
Is.
They always say start with bones in your feet. We obviously know you have the ballet background and the ballet chops, and after you came back from that, you did the majority of your career, and you ended up becoming one of the more celebrated dancers of our era of dancing. What are some of the roles that you did? Just for context, you were Aurora. I
got to do Cinderella. I got to do Odette O'Deal.
Odette O'Deal. Mm-hmm. I'll just keep saying stuff right after you say it, just so it sounds like I'm supporting this. So you know what it's like to be a principal ballerina, doing a role, attacking it from that perspective, having the real weight of a show on your shoulders.
Yeah, carrying the story and
title character. Now, with that perspective, you then, upon finishing your dancing career, start pursuing the field of mental health. Mm-hmm. Where are the connection points that are most interesting for you between learning what you've learned in mental health and knowing what you know of the ballet world?
Oh, it's been so fun.
Well, this is also coming from a person who enjoys, you said panic disorder or panic attacks. The other day you come in and you go, God, I love panic attacks. And I was like, that is the first person in the history of planet Earth.
I like working with clients, with patients that have, I know how to do that. And there's a lot when you are at a state of panic and you can help someone have relief from that.
I know. It's like magic.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
Yes. I'm always in panic. And you help me all the time. So I appreciate it. I'm the formal definition of panic you actually do not fit. So you are not in the top 10% of panickers. You have so much interesting perspective. Because in my mind, the things that honestly I dislike the most about ballet have nothing to do with ballet. It has to do with what it does to the people who are trying their very best in good faith to either be a ballet dancer or coach and manage ballet dancers. Mm-hmm. The mental health piece of that is the part that I feel the most frustrated with as an observer of the art form.
What's frustrating for you?
I feel frustrated that there's missing pieces in terms of the understanding of both the person who's trying to do it, where you push past your nose a lot. You're in an environment where it makes it feel like it's better to dissociate from what you're feeling than to tap into what you're feeling.
Well, none of this is a choice. Like, all of this is happening in the subconscious level.
Well, I'm saying from the dancer perspective, but then the people who are in leadership, I think, have a whole other batch of issues.
Yeah, but I do think the people in leadership don't understand the biological nervous system lens, which I think that could be a huge growth point.
Well, what is that?
I mean, to not have to go into a lecture on how the autonomic nervous system works. It's basically your nervous system determines how your body feels safe enough that it can rest, or whether there's a threat that it has to mobilize in order to find safety from.
So you're either feeling safe and at rest, or you're feeling in a state of threat. You're talking about your nervous system. Those are the two states of being, or a third state of being.
Yeah, it's way more complex than that. But this is just
people don't know.
We're
Hayden,
on a podcast. And
I'm following.
He's following.
Yeah. So I think, all I can say from my experience, and I have observed this too, a little bit of the ballet culture is like to have, to make the environment really high pressured. Yeah. Like, don't ever make a mistake. If you fall out of it, out of this thing, I'm going to glare at you and tell you you're not working hard enough, or you're being lazy today. So there's a lot of like personal responsibility historically that kind of has come from, whether that's teacher, boss, leadership, and not understanding like what might be happening with the person. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm trying not to like use too scientific-y terms.
What I'm gathering, both from this conversation and other conversations we've had, is if you're trying to convey information to someone and their body is in a threat response, you are not going to be in an efficient stream of communication.
So that helps me.
Good.
Get back on track.
This is almost funny, guys.
When your body is in a state of threat, there's no incentive or evolutionary purpose for your body to be in a state of learning.
Ah, that's big.
Because all of the energy needs to be used to find safety. Like your immune system, there's not as much energy going to your immune system. Why would I use this energy to, fight illness when I could use it to run away from this bear?
Which is why it always felt like I wanted to fight or run away from the director. Just kidding. He's a sweet guy. But whoever was in the front of the room, if I was having a vibe issue with whoever was in the front of the room, I could feel that in my body of going, oh, no, I hate this. Or I want to get out of here. This place sucks.
But, and this is what happens with domesticated animals, which we are one of those, is that a lot of these responses are...
I'm a hairless. Just kidding.
No, you are not. You are very hairy.
I am. It's a disaster back there.
These responses are inhibited, right? You're an employee. You are scheduled to be in this rehearsal for this long. You can't just walk out and leave if you have an impulse to do that. Now, a lot of people don't know they have an impulse. Maybe some people do know they have an impulse to do that. Or you have an impulse to say, hey, my body hurts. I can't run this one more time. You can't say that because there's a power differential. You have to say, okay, and you put your head down, and then you override that response to say no, have a fight response. Right. So there's all these inhibited responses, and that just builds up, and as it builds and builds and builds, oftentimes it becomes so charged your body will just say like, oh, I'll just check it. I'll dissociate. I'll shut down. There's so much feeling and activation and sensation. I'll just turn all that off for you.
And then what happens, of course, you get injured.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're not in tune with what you're feeling, you don't know, oh, that doesn't feel right. Or I'm here and aware and present as I'm landing this thing. You're doing it from like this other state. And it feels familiar to me, the state you're talking about, where you are just sort of like dissociating to get through the thing. And looking back on it, it does feel vulnerable to your system in a lot of ways. And so I think that's like from the dancer lens, makes a lot of sense as someone who was in the studio trying to do this.
Yeah. I think the physical therapy community has been, like specific to dancers, has been advocating for, feels like quite some time now, for more rest, adjusted schedules for dancers. Like they have all the science to prove that you need time off to, like all the major football players, like they have schedules curated for them for optimal performance based on science. And it, like the culture of ballet kind of is in the way of being able to do that.
Athletic job with a show business schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's limits because it's like the show must go on. So you've got all the drama of like, this is the theater, honey. You have to just go out there with your bloody tap shoes. But then it's also like, yeah, but I have a torn meniscus. That's a real problem. So.
And then, like, from the dancer, too, like, you're like, hey, this is the only time I might get to do this role.
Of course.
So I'm going to just go out there on my torn meniscus.
My career is going to be over in 20 minutes. I got to go out there right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. But I think something that I would be interested in, and I'm sort of still in like gathering information stages, but of how to help educate dance leadership, dance educators on some of the science of the body, the nervous system, so that they can actually help dancers prevent injuries, prevent mental health, and have optimal performance too.
And I agree with that. And to me, all of that is step 2 to step 1, which is everybody has to figure out how to not be like a crazy person.
Okay, say that a different way. Instead of saying you have to figure out how to not be something, how to figure out to be what?
A person who's not so insecure that they can't function. Like that is, I feel like, the insidious core.
So you want people in ballet to feel secure about who they are.
I want people to feel secure about who they are, not just in ballet, but especially in ballet. I feel like all you do is look at yourself in the mirror and see the ways you're not good enough. And then all you hear are the people telling you the ways in which you're doing things wrong. And then all you feel is discomfort.
Now, I think that can be attacked at the education level too. Because
what's going to be attacked? My theory or that problem?
I think building a secure sense of self could be impacted from students as young as,
I think it would have to be.
By how, I teach a little bit still, and often I will ask my students after they do something, I'll pause and I'll say, hey, tell me something you just did well in that combination.
I never had a teacher ask me to tell them anything. That I feel like is groundbreaking in itself.
Yeah, tell me something you did well. And they're so thrown off 100% of the time are like, I'm only used to criticizing myself because that's how I get better. Yeah. But I think it misses this back and forth balance that our systems need for health to be able to see the positive things and the negative things. I think culturally in the education of ballet dancers and in the professional field as well, there's a lot of focus on the negative.
Yeah, there's 2 things there that I was just like so fascinated by that I want to go over, because the first thing you're doing, which I genuinely think, like I'm certain there are teachers doing this, but this is so underdone in ballet, which is stop, let me, the teacher, ask you, the student, about your experience.
Yeah.
That does not happen.
I didn't do that before I became a therapist. I think like I'm able to integrate what I know about creating safety, what I know about the nervous system, yes, into what I know about helping dancers learn to dance.
Yes.
And it's been very cool.
Well, because there's this thing, and it's probably in other arts as well or other things. It's like the whiplash syndrome, where it's like the guy who's, J.K. Simmons, the drumming movie, mm-hmm, where it's like, why would I ask you anything? I'm the ultimate authority. I am the teacher in this room. I will tell you how you feel. Yeah. I will tell you what your experience is. That was not right. This is what you need to do. This is exactly. I know you don't. That's why you stink, and I'm up here in the front. So that is what I'm talking about with the like being secure enough and having enough perspective and enough like rope to be able to go to a student and say, what did that feel like for you? How illuminating is that for a teacher? I wish I did that when I was teaching. Yeah. It's great. But then the second thing you're saying, which is having space to focus on the positive experience, so that you have something where it's like, I can start to associate, yes, this, I did do this well.
Hey, I'm really, focusing on keeping connection with my lower abdominals. Hey, I did that. Did I fall out of this pirouette, or did I, lose balance in this position? Sure, but I did do this. Like, there's not a lot, like the dancer mind is not trained to look at both.
What do you mean the dancer mind is not trained to look at both?
To be able to say, hey, I did this thing well. I'm working on this and I did it. It's like you do the thing well that you've been working on, and it kind of just like, this is how I'm imagining it in my mind. Like, that thing on your list to work on just kind of disappears.
Yes.
There's not like a moment to say, I did it. You go right back to the list of all the things that you need to
Absolutely.
improve.
There's only ever spotlight on the problems.
And someone might say like, well, you want to get better. Why don't you just focus on the things you need to improve? But for your system, for your nervous system, for your body to have health, to be able to move through these different states, like come out of the state of threat, you have to have back and forth of both. And so it's not like...
To be in the most effective state to do the thing you're wanting to do, you have to have moments where you're illuminating the bad and moments when you're illuminating the good, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That goes across the boards, whether you're doing ballet or not.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank, guys.
That's stuff I work on with clients. Like, it's what I'm learning in the somatic training program that I'm in for somatic experiencing.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So I just always want to, if there's an opportunity to chat with you about this type of stuff, I love talking to you about this, just more in the car or in the kitchen, because the cross section of knowing anything about high level ballet and knowing anything about mental health is missing. And I think there's a lot of like good intentioned lip service to mental health now in a lot of things, including ballet. It's just so hard because I feel like I'm somebody who's wanting to consume as much of this good mental health conversation as possible, and I miss elements of it all the time.
Yeah.
As a well-intentioned person trying to learn the best practices and methods and information.
Well, I think the ballet, it's an art form, it's a nonprofit, like in the United States, it's underfunded, so these people, they've got like in leadership have a lot on their hands, a lot they're trying to keep their company afloat. So I think there is more of an intention and awareness around the mental health of dancers, but I don't know that there has been like the time or space or energy devoted to, okay, what does that actually look like? And how do I educate myself? And how do I do this training? Or how do I have this person come in and talk about how I can create a trauma-informed environment for these dancers to learn in or to work in?
If you're a young ballerina and you're wanting to pursue a career in this, how do you protect yourself from all of the hazards that ballet has to offer, both mentally and physically? We'll be right back.
Are we actually pausing?
After we touch on this, we'll take a break. Yeah.
So my honest answer is I don't know.
Okay. That's honest.
I don't know yet. I think when I am teaching, when I get to teach, I am using the power that I have to create safe environments for them as human beings, for them as dancers, for their nervous systems.
Yeah.
I know how to do that, and I'm practicing that. That's like how I'm using my power.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here on this. Is there anything else you want to share? And where can we find you? Let's say somebody out there, and if you're still listening, is like, this person is speaking to me in a way where I would maybe even like to have them be my therapist someday. How could they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I work at a group practice in Franklin and Brentwood, Tennessee. It's called New Moon Rising Wellness. If you Google that and you look at their therapist, I have a page there. So my name is Sarah Veach, and I'm a somatic therapist at New Moon Rising Wellness. So you can use Google to find me.
Do you have to be in Tennessee to use you as a therapist?
Yes.
Is that 100% true?
Yes.
So move to Tennessee, guys. And when you do, give me a call. I'll sell you a house. You guys, that's been Sarah Veach. I'm Judson Veach. We were almost funny. See you next time.